All right, so we'll take a comfortable seat. You can rest your hands in a comfortable place. Find the support beneath you. And lengthen your spine up towards the sky. Deepen your inhale and lengthening your exhale. And can you go ahead? We've been working with this 1-to-1 ratio. And I'd like to just encourage you to practice that now with the balance of the inhale to the exhale. If you know Ujjayi breathing, you can practice your Ujjayi, or if that is not, if you're not sure about that, or you're like, when you start to think about Ujjayi, you get way into your head and you start to ruminate too much, go to the balanced inhale and exhale, the Samavriti breathing. And you're doing a 1-to-1 ratio, the inhale to the exhale. And just notice if you can make the breath smooth all the way up to the top of your inhale and the pause, and then the exhale when the breath turns back around. And there's the pause again, and you're back to the inhale. And I'm going to share with you a poem by Emily Dickinson. Hope. Hope is the thing with feathers, and that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetest in the gale is heard, and sore must the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity it asked a crumb of me. So letting go of any control on your breath. And just noticing how your body is being breathed. This blessing of each breath that we don't have to think about it at all. It is a gift, and it happens without our ever even noticing. Bring your hands in front of your heart. And we had talked about, over several weeks, we've talked about Shraddha, the Sanskrit word for faith. So we embody that right now. We have faith that if we do our yoga practice, it will make life, or maybe our day, a little more ease. And that we may be better able to serve others and to also serve ourselves in this spirit of staying positive. And so I'll chant the sound of Om. You're welcome to join me to allow the vibration of sound to move through your body. And I'm singing Aloka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings in all realms find peace and happiness. May my words and actions support this. Take a deep inhale. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. And with your next exhale, you can bow your head towards your heart. Release your hands and lift your gaze. All right, so let's go ahead and come up to standing. Oh my gosh, coming to standing is getting harder from all that sitting in the car. That's one thing I noticed. Hi, there's that right there. All right, I'm teaching, so you can grab those things and grab those. Sorry. Okay, so we're gonna come up to standing, and if you'll go ahead and you can move your blanket off your spot. We're gonna do a little breathing. So step the feet a little wider apart, and just let's begin to move the arms. Be soft in the knees. The body, the hands can touch the body. All right, so we're gonna use that forceful exhale out the mouth. We don't have to think about the inhale, it's just going to come. So when you're ready. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and you slowly let the body come back. And then let's step the feet towards each other when you're ready. Bring them towards hip distance. And we're going to take with the fist, we go inhale, 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 exhale. You're going to open the hands, audibly exhale out the mouth, bend both knees, and we'll come back up. All right? Here we go. This is the last one. When you come down, you're going to stay down. The arms slowly, slowing down, releasing your head and your neck. Inhaling halfway. And exhale, folding forward. Again, inhale halfway. And exhale, bow. Take the hands on your hips. And inhale, come up. And release your arms. It's like, oh my gosh, morning. So in standing, can you, once again, now that you're standing, just put the hands on your hip points so you get to, and you feel them. And then you also go down, and can you get a sense of where your outer femur is? Can you get that sense of where the front of it is? Where the top of it is? Where the back of it is? Can you feel it? Way, around the side. And if you shift your weight a little bit, you'll feel the muscles probably underneath your finger pads. You get the sense of that space. All right? So that, and you also get the sense, can you get a sense of like the space, that whole hip crease from the pubic bone all the way out. All right? So have your blocks, if you have your blocks available. And let me situate my yoga mat. All right, we're gonna move through some forward folding. So you can have your blocks at the top of your mat. And bring your hands in front of your heart. Again, you can take a moment to remember that sense of hope that lives inside of you. And then release your arms and inhale, lift both arms. And exhale, bring the hands back in front of your heart. Inhale, lift both arms. Exhale, hands, Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. So one more time, inhale, lift both arms. And exhale, we're going to bow forward this time. So you're going to bow forward. Hands can come to blocks or the ground. Inhale, halfway up. And exhale, let's step your right foot back. So hands can be on blocks or hands on the ground. Right foot back, right heel lifted. On your front leg in this lunge, feel that whole hip crease as it comes all the way around, all the way across, all the way to really above the greater trochanter. On the left, on the front leg. let's inhale, step forward. And exhale, take your left leg back. So even if you take your hand into your hip crease on your front leg, and you get a sense of like, okay, so it comes from that, it's going from, you know, the pubic bone all the way towards, you feel that top hip point? And do you feel how it goes beyond that hip point? That it's going out, way out to the side, to where that you feel where your the greater trochanter, the outer hip is. So sometimes we in our mind we think, oh, the hip crease, it stops, but it doesn't stop. See, feel how far it goes out towards the side there on the front leg. So soften that space. And then we'll inhale, step forward. And exhale, fold forward. Inhale halfway. And exhale, bow. Hands on your hips, shoulder blades back. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front of your heart. Let's take a wide stance. We're gonna just keep opening up the space a little bit. I know the light isn't as good as sometimes. It's just kind of the way it is. Okay, so feet wide apart. Let's take hands up on the hips, lift the top of the breastbone, inhale deeply, feet are parallel. And so the heels are as wide as the toes. Exhale, bow forward, forward fold. Hands can come to blocks or the ground. Exhale, deeply bowing here. Relax, you can release your neck. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, one more time, bow forward. With your inhale, come halfway up. And then walk the hands forward like downward dog arms. They could be on blocks or on the ground. Balance the weight in your footprints between the ball of the foot and the heel. And here on your forward fold, the hip crease, let it be, it's deep, right? It comes into the body. So like we talked about the bone that comes above the pubic bone, that makes that part of the pelvis, let that come deeply in your, as you're in this downward dog with the hands forward. Let that recess into you. What is your breath doing? And you might, I'd say, Evelyn, take the feet wider apart. Yeah, good. Yeah, Evelyn. Oh. Yeah, no, you're okay, Ingrid. Actually, you could put more weight in your heels, Ingrid, a little more weight in your heels. Keep going back into the heels. Yeah, great, yes. That way you're, just the angle of the pelvis and the legs, good. Yeah. All right. Okay, very nice, great. So you feel that the pubic ramus, the upper ramus, is moving deeply in the body. And then notice the back of your sacrum. Is it level? Is one side higher than the other? So like Rebecca, your right side is a little higher than your left side. So for example, Rebecca, what you would do is from the right lower inner thigh, you would reach into the right inner heel. And that'll help you you'll feel the pelvis move. So those of you that are level, and I can't really tell on all of you, it just depends on the, you know, camera angle, but reach from the lower adductor all the way to the inner heel and just see what you sense there. All right. And then let's go ahead and walk the hands back and shift them up onto, well, actually, there's the hands. You've got the hands still down there. Let's not shift them quite yet unless you already came up. Can you step the feet together in this, or jump the feet together? Shift them up onto your hips and come up to standing. Okay, beautiful. All right, good. Inhale, lift both arms. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart. All right. And let's take side angle pose. So just to open the side body, and then let's take the right foot out, left foot in. So you might have a block or two at the right outer shin. And you're lined up either heel to heel. So you might check, am I kind of heel to heel? Probably not heel to arch. Most people, the pelvis won't like that so much. Okay, so we're going to inhale the arms out. And then exhale, side angle. So remember, we're releasing at the front. We're releasing the pelvis away from the front inner thigh. So your right hand can come down to a block if you have a block, or can be the top of the thigh. So we talked a lot in last class about releasing that space from the inner right hip joint to the inner, that right pubic area. So make space. Front knee is bent.
Oh.
We're in side angle. And then we're going to inhale, come up. And exhale, switch to the other side. So you can move your prop to that other side. And then when you're ready, inhale, take the arms out. Exhale, as you bend the front knee, start taking the pelvis away from the inner thigh on the front leg. Deep breathing. And then we're going to inhale, come up. And exhale, release both arms. You can heel toe or hop your feet to center. Inhale, lift both of your arms. And exhale, forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, arms overhead. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart. And release both arms. All right, so do you have a piece of furniture or chair or something that you were going to go to it and you're going to take? I happen to have a table. So let's go ahead, and you're going to face a little bit away from this object. So in other words, I'm going to stand on the right and take my left leg up onto that furniture. I'm not facing my leg. that's lifted. But I can look at the leg that's lifted and I can say, is the knee pointing up towards the ceiling? And I can take, so I'm standing on the right, I have my left leg up. I can take my hand and the crease between the pointer finger and the thumb, and I'm just going to put it right into that crease right there, because this is that crease coming across underneath my skin. So I've got my hand, whatever clothing, the skin of my body, and I'm going to try to release all the way towards the bone. All the way towards the bones there. Let them open. And remember how we said that crease goes way back. Feel how far back it goes towards that outer left hip, if the left leg's up. Feel how far back. And release that all that way back. And so you might notice, like occasionally you might go, oh my gosh, I feel it contracting underneath my hand and rising up towards that hip point. Go back in and use your awareness to try to soften it, to allow it to drop out. And then let's take your right arm, the standing leg arm, and reach it up. Reach all the way up. So you're reaching down, you're reaching up. Keeping the awareness about this space on the lifted leg, that it stays open and broad, like in the horizontal, and feel how far out that goes. Inhale again. And as you exhale, you might take your left hand or whatever leg is lifted lightly and take a small side bend. You might feel on the standing leg side that in the right low belly, you're going to reach into the right foot. You're going to reach all the way down. And then we're going to inhale, come up and step down. And then we're going to take the second side. So second side, so you're going to bring your foot up. You can take the crease of the hand into that hip crease, which we often think kind of ends right below that hip point. But then we go, oh, it doesn't. It keeps going. Keeps going. So you put your hand in there and you put your awareness and you go, okay, I'm going to soften, which takes some focus. And I can notice that, oh man, it does. That crease does go all the way out towards my outer hip. What direction is it going? Inhale, lift your left arm or the standing leg arm. And this might be enough for you. Being vertical might be enough for you to keep this space at the outer right hip down. We're moving towards the outside. You can notice, like, if when you start to take a little side bend, does this tissue want to rise back up towards the top of the thigh? So how can you bring your awareness there? And then let's inhale, come up. And step down again. Notice the two sides. So let's go through a sun salutation. So if you move your furniture out of the way, literally, and then there you are standing, you know where your blocks are, and you're going to inhale and lift both arms. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, downward facing dog. Strongly reaching into the finger pads and knuckles. Rib cage going away from the hands. And the front hip creases going deep into your body. Let's come forward to plank pose. Exhale, lightly touch the knees down and bring your chest down. Inhale, cobra. And exhale, lower. Inhale to all fours. Exhale, downward facing dog or puppy. Inhale, lift the right leg. Exhale, right foot forward. So on the front leg again, can you soften all that way out towards your outer right hip? So let that hip crease and that space between that hip point on the right and the outer hip on the right be soft. And then can we take the arms out to the side and come all the way up? Inhale the arms back wide. Exhale, bow forward. Step back, downward dog. Deep breathing. Inhale, lift the left leg. Exhale, left foot forward. And again, on the front leg, on that hip crease from the ASIS all the way around, make that broad, softer. This is the front leg. On the back leg, you're also reaching. Inhale upright when you're ready. Another deep inhale and exhale, bow forward. Inhale, step forward. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come all the way up. Arms overhead. Exhale, hands. back in front of your heart. Relax both arms. And we're going to take triangle pose. So stepping the feet about a leg's length apart. Turn your right foot out and your left foot in. I know the light makes it hard to see my feet, but don't know what to do about that sun out there. Inhale the arms out when you're ready. And exhale. So both legs are straight. So as you start to move the pelvis away from the front leg, can you notice that on the front leg, that hip crease, the outer one, and keep it rolling back behind you. What happens? You know, you're still reaching from the inner thigh on the front leg to all the way down towards the big toe. But on the front leg, that space between the hip point and the outer hip, make that space softer, longer on the horizontal. Then we'll inhale, come up. Good. Let's step the feet together for just a moment. And if there's a question you want to ask about that space between, again, you can touch these hip points so you know where they are on you. Those two front ASIS is what they're called. And then you could even take the heel of your hand there and then take your fingers and reach over towards where is that outer hip again. So that space between those hip points and the outer hip, the front of the greater trochanter, that space is that space that gets so dry, firm, kind of gristly. I mean, it just gets so taut. That's the space I'm talking about. And so we're going to go into triangle on the second side. So that space, really on the front leg, see if you can lengthen it. When you're bent way over, lengthen it. Okay, let's try the other side, unless you want to ask a question. Okay, second side. Feet apart. I believe your second side is going to be the back foot turns in, your left foot turns out. You're going to inhale, take the arms out. And exhale, here you go, triangle. So your awareness, what's happening there? You can take the hand on the hip to start if that helps you. Here's your breath. Once your hand touches down, and you're still reaching from the lower inner thigh on the front leg, all the way through towards the big toe. And then what's happening at that front hip crease, can you broaden it? Are you still strongly reaching through the core of the front leg? And appreciating your yoga blocks. All right, inhale, come up. Make your feet parallel. Let's take a wide-legged forward fold. Hands coming down. And downward dog arms. Are you balancing the inhale and the exhale? And then with the arms out there in downward dog, go ahead and you can step your feet towards each other or hop them towards each other. Walk them back. Shift them to the hips. And inhale, come back up. And exhale your hands in front of your heart. All right, I'm going to do one more standing pose, but it's the revolved side angle pose, revolved side angle. So in your revolved side angle, you can have, both blocks can be at the top of your mat. And let's step your left foot back, right foot forward. You're in a low lunge. And you're going to bring your block, if you have a block, lucky you. If you have a block, you're going to bring the block to the inside of the right big toe. Your left hand, you might bring up to that front hip crease. Just to bring your awareness there, and then soften from the skin into all the way to the bone. So you could keep the left hand on the block close to the big toe. Or you might take the left outer elbow on the outside of the right knee. You might take the right arm overhead by your ear. Or if you have the elbow out there, you'll take the hands in towards Anjali Mudra. Then we're going to turn back towards the ground. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, fold. Releasing the neck again. Inhale halfway. And exhale, right foot back. So if you have a block, put it on the inside of your left big toe. And so right hand on the block, left hand can go up into that hip crease again, if that helps me with my awareness about that space. So if you're turning towards your bent knee, and some of you might take then the left arm and bring it up alongside your ear. Some of you might take your right elbow to the outside of your left knee, palms together. Back to center. Inhale, step forward. And exhale, fold. Inhale halfway. Exhale, bow. Inhale, come all the way up. And exhale your hands back in front of your heart. Releasing that. Okay, we're going to come down to the floor. Down to the floor. So let's see, you might want your strap. You might want a blanket. And let's see, in the blanket, I might fold it kind of in a, like a diamond shape kind of thing. Anyway, I'm going to sit on a corner of this blanket. We're going to take Janu Shirshasana. So when you sit up on your prop or your blanket, let's take your right leg out and bend the right knee. So if you can make more of an obtuse angle between your straight leg, if your hips let you, and your bent knee, then do that. I can't tell if you can see me okay, but I'm hoping. All right, so if you need a strap, then you can take your strap around your straight leg. All right. We're going to take a revolved Janu Shirshasana. So Pavrita Janu Shirshasana. So you're going to your straight leg arm is reaching towards that foot, and it might have a hold of the strap. And then you're going to start to, so as you begin to take, you side bend towards the straight leg, that outer front hip. Can you make that space? If you need the reminder of the hand helping you remember that the outer hip of the straight leg is going behind you. It's going away from your foot on that side. The opposite sit bone is lightening up. It's getting lighter. And maybe the arm that's free reaches overhead. And then we'll inhale, come up. And you can take your hand under the straight leg knee to help bring it back to center. I want to take the other leg out. So if you need your strap, you're welcome. You could just put it over the ball of the straight leg foot. And then you start taking the body kind of like triangle, right? As you take your upper body towards this leg, this straight leg, the pelvis is really lengthening away. I mean, it's different because there's some weight there. But pay attention to the outer hip on that side. And then you might take the arm and reach it up. In fact, in this pose, similar to the wide-legged forward fold, that upper ramus above the pubic bone, the bone above the pubic bone, is going deep inside your body on the straight leg side. It's going deep, it's recessing deep into you. And then we'll come up. Take your hand under that knee, bring it back to center. Can we take both feet kind of towards the other side? Could be where my front leg foot is meeting the top of that thigh, and my bent knee on this side is kind of like a Virasana leg or hero's pose leg. It's going a little more back. There's more weight, so I've got my feet to the left, and there's more weight on my right outer hip. You can have your feet going whichever way. But we're going to turn towards, like I've got my feet to the left, so I'm going to turn towards my right. Take my left hand to my outer right thigh, and the opposite hand behind you. And here you go. You're starting to lift the chest, and your opposite hip starts lifting too. It starts lifting. There's a little back bend. And we'll exhale back to center. Oh, other side. So much awareness around for me, around, because I don't ever spend this much time sitting. So like all this sitting and being in a car, it really is so, wow. It's very eye-opening for what that does to my body, and gives me some insight into, oh my gosh, people with sit-down jobs. It's so tight through here. Second side. Hand behind you to support. The hip that is away from the way you're turning becomes lighter. So on the back leg side, that space between the hip point and the greater trochanter, that outer hip, make that long. They open up that space as you're turning. And then we'll come back to center. And let's take a Baddha Konasana. So you'll bring soles of the feet are toward each other. Sit up high enough. You might just hold on to your shins. And that hip crease, again, can you broaden it on that horizontal shape, like broadening it out? So feel what direction it's going. And then we'll take the hands under the knees and lift them back to center. And you're going to come onto your back. We're going to take bridge pose. So if you have a blanket, and this blanket probably won't work for me. If you have a blanket, you're going to fold it to go underneath just the shoulders. If you don't have a blanket, I don't have one right now, so I'm going to be just on the ground. Yeah. So you're going to lie on your back, feet on the floor. And you might even be able to touch your heels, or just even a little, just so you know, okay, it's probably more likely then that the shins will be vertical. And then can we take like robot arms, where you're going to bring the tops of the backs of the shoulders onto the floor, the back of the upper arm, and you can point your fingers and forearms up to the ceiling. Deep inhale. Complete exhale, and your next inhale, lift the pelvis. And exhale, release. Resting. We're going to take 2 more. So we set up again. And then with the inhale, when you're ready, press the tops of the shoulders down. Keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. Lengthen out your inner thighs toward the knees. And then straight down the shin bone toward the heels. Inner thighs have some tone. And exhale, come back down again. We're going to prep for one more. So you might notice that because we worked so much with toning the inner thigh, but when you're up in this pose and having the inner thighs tones toward the inseam of each leg. Ready? Press the tops of the shoulders down, looking straight up at the ceiling. Inhale deeply when you're ready, and up you go. Bridge. And then you'll exhale and lower. Resting for a moment here. Let's walk the feet out as wide as your yoga mat. Relax your arms out to the sides. And drop the right knee in towards the left ankle, or reaching the right knee all the way out towards the left big toe. So again, that front of the right hip lengthening. And then coming back to center. Exhale, second side. Inhale, back up to center. Great. Walk the feet back towards each other, just towards hip distance. And then cross the right outer heel over the top of the left, knee, thigh. And then let's just keeping right now, so the left foot's on the ground, arms out wide, and you're going to tilt the whole lower body towards your left. Keeping that same way, except that the right foot might come down to the floor. And you might slide your right arm up. The right shin is towards vertical. And then we'll come back up to center. So we slide the right arm back out to the side, lift that back to center, and then let's bring the left knee up toward the chest. Take the hands behind the left thigh. If you need a blanket or a pillow under the back of the head, you can add that. So we're in this figure 4. And I'm going to shift the weight just slightly more to the left side of my sacrum, just a little more to the left side. And then let's switch sides. So we cross now. The left heel is, and the little toe side of the foot is right around the top of the right knee. Arms out wide, and I'm going to tilt the lower body towards my right. I also like taking that shin. Once that foot can either find the ground or maybe a block or something, I like to see if I can take the shin on that leg towards a more vertical position. That's going to depend a lot on your hip joint, the ability for that to happen. You might slide your left arm overhead comfortably. Palm might be facing towards the ceiling, the sky. And then let's take the arm back out to the side, lift back up to center, and take a figure 4 on this side. There's a little more weight to the right side of the sacrum now. And I use the strength at the top of the right thigh to help bring my knee towards me. So I don't have to use just all the strength of my arms. I can also use the strength of the quadriceps at the top of the right thigh. And then, even though I think I could stay here for a lot longer, I'm going to undo it and put both feet on the floor again. And I'm going to let's put both arms overhead. Palms are up towards the sky. I've got both feet on the ground. They're pretty close to my sit bones. And I'm just going to do a little lift of the hips up. So I'm going to inhale. I lift the back of my head and my hips up a little bit. And then exhale, I'm going to lower back down. And I'm going to do that 2 more times. I lift the back of the head because there's this little shift that happens as you roll up on top of the shoulders. And then you come back down. And 1 more time. And then down. And then bring the knees to the chest. And your exhale, you might lift your head and chest. Inhale the arms away, the legs away. Exhale, hug them in. Twice more. And then you're going to come down to Shavasana. And you can slowly allow your breath to deepen. Hope is the thing with feathers that perches in the soul and sings the tune without the words and never stops at all. And sweetness in the gale is heard, as sore must be the storm that could abash the little bird that kept so many warm. I've heard it in the chillest land and on the strangest sea, yet never in extremity, it asked a crumb of me. So feeling that sense of the blessing of your breathing, the gift of each breath. And you can begin to awaken your body to movement. And make a mindful transition over to one side. Use the support of your arms to come back to sitting. Bring your hands in front of your heart. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for showing up. Let me look